I was younger, I could instantly purge the poison running through this young lady's veins. Now it takes all my strength just to keep her breathing. The poor dear. Just in time. I've made a salve for Alara that'll help her wake. I'll channel what energy I have left into her. The amulet should be able to sustain me afterwards. At least I hope it will. This'll just take a moment. Took more out of me than I thought. Go on, give it to the poor girl. I'll be all right.
I was asleep? What am I doing in this hovel? And who are you? No, I remember. Stenwick brought me here. I was sick. Apologies, but I still don't remember who you are. Then you have my gratitude. I feel weak, but not unwell. It seems my outer wounds have all been healed. Tell me, stranger, how fares Evermore? Is my mother well? My father? I see. My mother must be in mourning then. I will send word that I am well, if Stenwick is willing. Ah, we have company, it seems. Who's coming in?
The forest feels your weakness, Sentinel. This is treacherous ground.
Enter Daemara. Was that a warning or a threat?
Stenwick, who is this? A Weiress?
Yes, child. You will know more of them soon enough.
Is that so? You're more foolish than I thought, old man.
Don't think anything of this. The weird are a strange folk. The weird and I have always had a tenuous relationship, but saving Alara was something I needed to do, regardless of their objections. It will make this process harder than it needs to be, but I still have some spirit in me yet. It's quite complicated. Suffice to say, they don't think I should use the forest power for such things. Of course, they'd much rather I didn't exist at all. But it changes nothing. There's work to be done, and I'm not getting any younger. My salve was but a reprieve, I fear. In order to safeguard Alara, I need to do something drastic, and I'll need the Weird's help. You've seen the Spriggans of the forest, I'll bet. There's one that's much older and much wiser than the rest of them. They are guardians of nature in the truest sense, and I am a guardian of the people. Our interests don't always coincide. They see my role as Sentinel as unnatural, though the Sentinel has existed for generations. My salve was... Some call her the voice of the forest. In a way, she is. I need a bud from one of her branches, one freely given. It can harness the full power of these woods to safeguard Ilara's life. May I ask your aid once again? Find the voice of the forest. It shouldn't be difficult to find, but if you must... Many Spriggans carry a spore that returns to the voice of the forest when the Spriggan dies. You could kill them and follow it to the voice, but that certainly won't make it very happy. Take my amulet. Its power is spent, but the voice of the forest will recognize it and grant you an audience. Weiress Daemara may not welcome you when you take the bud to her, but persevere. She knows what the weird must do.
I won't sit here and let you do all the work. We have to find the voice of the forest. If Stenwick needs a Spriggan bud, then I'll do anything to get it for him. I suppose you're right. I'll stay here with Stenwick. But this forest voice, if it's like a Spriggan, it will react to their deaths. I bet you could kill some Spriggans to draw it out. And if we never find it? No. Kill the Spriggans. It's the best chance to do this quickly. Probably, but they're animals. I don't see any other way to reason with them. Stenwick needs the bud, and we don't have time to coddle the Spriggans. We need their cooperation, whether they intend to give it or not.
This creature disturbs the woods with the Sentinel's binding as a token. Has the forest not bent to the whims of the Sentinel already? What more can we give? So, he may pass our yoke to another, a stranger to the woods. Your demand is empty, voice of the Sentinel. I refuse. Why should we care for a mortal? We only seek to grow as our nature intends. Your Sentinel is the one who prevents this, but you care nothing for our plight. It is a waste to speak of this further. Take the bud and be gone, but know this. There shall be no peace in these woods.
A familiar scent surrounds you. Did the Sentinel send you? What do you hold? If I had a seed for every man, woman, and child who asked me that, I'd cover the land in ivy in a fortnight. We are of the forest, and the forest is of us. That is all an outsider needs to know. How dare the Sentinel pick his successor out of pity? But she didn't bring us the bud, you did. Why should we give our blessing to one who needs another to carry her burdens? He didn't even trust you enough to tell you, did he? Let the Sentinel explain it to you when you next see him. I'll do my part and no more. Where is this princess who is greater than the needs of nature? Too weak to even follow you? No, the forest does not need such a creature. The Sentinel oversteps his bounds, and the Weird will not allow it.
If you have something to say, you'll say it to my face.
I will. You are weak, fit for little more than prey. How do you hope to wield the Sentinel's power?
Stenwick is trying to save my life. I don't know what he has planned, but I certainly owe it to him to see this through.
The child knows nothing, and he expects us to offer our blessing?
I don't know what Stenwick is planning, but if it'll save my life, I trust him. I don't understand why these weird people can't see that. Sounds like jealousy to me. It won't stand in my way. I won't give up a second chance at life for the whims of some forest folk. Stenwick is a kind man. Why won't they see that he means no harm? Why? She pretends to be in charge of everything. And we've already received the bud from the voice of the forest. That's good enough for me. And it ought to be enough for the likes of her.
Once the Viridian Sentinel stood for something more than a wet nurse to spoiled children. Now he expects us to train and rear this daughter of the city as our own? No. The Sentinel asks too much. His time wanes. He will make this girl the new Sentinel, untrained and unfit. He holds no respect for the forest and no respect for the weird. What does it matter to us if one child withers to allow the forest to grow free, I ask you? We've heard nothing from the Sentinel these past days but demands. Still, we will do what must be done. Perhaps we can trust you to make the correct decision when the time comes. Althine will help you prepare it. For the Sentinel's ritual, he needs a Spriggan bud, freely given. You have obtained that, but the bud will not bloom without nurturing. I hope you aren't squeamish about blood. But sister, you said this was the last time we would help the Sentinel. Enough. Come, let us finish the blessing and be done with it. Come along then. We have a sacrifice ready. When I say, hold the bud out in your hands, keep them steady, no matter what happens. Plunge it into the offering. Quickly.
The weird have stalled long enough. Stenwick isn't healthy, and we must do what he asked before it's too late. Go to him. Tell him what we've done. I'm short of breath and must save my strength. I have a feeling they don't dare harm me as long as I'm under Stenwick's protection. We'll see if I guessed correctly. Of course. And this bud may heal Stenwick, the way he healed me. We'll need to use it if we're to save him. Take him to that altar in the lake. I'll meet you there.
I was hoping you'd return before... I couldn't speak to you one last time. It's good Alar's not with you. I'd hate for her to see me in such a state.
Time, my friend. I gave my everything to heal Alara, and it still won't be enough. That's why I sent you to get the Spriggan bud. The only way she'll live past a fortnight is if she becomes the Sentinel. And luckily there'll be a vacancy shortly. In a sense, the power of the Sentinel is immortal. I'm old, but Alara is young. The Sentinel's power will take root and flourish in her. The weird fear what she will become, but you can't let that stop you. Take my essence. When I'm gone, save Alara. Tell her she must tame the will of the woods. The bud will summon, and the amulet will bind. The weird certainly won't help, considering they'd much rather see this power go to waste. Don't let the Sentinel's power fade. It must live on in Alara.
thought he'd be here by now. Where is Stenwick? He gave everything to keep me alive. Even his life. I don't even know what to do now. Does that mean I'm doomed to die as well? That was his plan all along, wasn't it? And I never got to thank him. If this is what he wanted, then I must see it through. You still have his amulet? Take it to the altar. We'll say a few words for him. So these moats are all that's left of dear Stenwick. What's that sound? Can you hear it?
We meet again, ally of the Viridian Sentinel. Now you seek to subjugate these woods once again. We will see if you can succeed. How I long to watch you stumble and fail, but an ancient pact compels me to explain the right. One simply has to gather the moats about the lake, but beware, we are not without our own defenses. Then there will be no Viridian Sentinel. The yoke about our necks for centuries would be freed. Of course, there is one way to ensure the princess does not become the Sentinel. Destroy the Spriggan bud I gave you, and she will fail. It is true, but we have endured a slow death for much longer. Man was not meant to rule over nature. No matter their intentions, they cannot know the will of the woods. The Viridian Sentinel is a mockery of nature's true cycle. The torches on either side would suffice. Their flames and your intention are more than enough. You are the one with the power to change this mortal.
I think I'm better now. Gods, what is this place? I didn't think we'd be able to pull through at the end, but we did. We did! You can't imagine how this feels. I had no idea Stenwick had this kind of power. I can feel the earth. I can taste the wind. It's like every piece of this forest is a part of me. I will remain here, a part of these woods forever. Could I even command the beasts? It seems that it would have been a trivial matter. More than that, The rocks themselves give me strength. I feel immortal. Apologies, my friend. This power, it's heady, like a deep, cold pool. Refreshing, but so easy to fall into. I have much to learn, it seems. We met only briefly, but the forest will remember your deeds forever. I will make sure of it. So much has happened to me. It's hard to think clearly. No. I belong here, in these woods. Eventually, the Weird and I will come to terms. I see our past and present through the eyes of the Sentinel. There will never be love between us, but understanding is not too much to ask.
What do John and Jod send us now? What does Crazy Eye see here? Another shave skin? Good! These Knights of St. Pelle need all the help they can get. Crazy Eye and the other Bandari have done all they can. Maybe it's your turn to help now. Are you living in a dog's den? Imperial skirmishers have been raiding this camp, stealing the Knight's supplies. This one and friends were just passing through, but the Bandari help when they can. Like Crazy Eye doesn't have anything better to do. If the Knights appreciated the Bandari, they'd fatten this one's purse. Crazy Eye doesn't like to work for free, do you? Or maybe since you're not Bandari, they'll pay you. If you want to help, see the Knight Commander, Sherilyn. Tell the Knight Commander you want to help stop the Imperial raids. Tell her Crazy Eye sent you too. Tell her this one deserves a little present. Or several presents. Several shiny presents. Yes, 3 times in recent days. Crazy Eye was only here for the last raid, but she saw them coming. Even put an arrow between a few pairs of eyes. They still managed to steal more supplies though, yes? Very tricky are these unclawed skeevers. Probably from Bangkorai garrison. That place has fallen, yes? Many knights were killed. Crazy Eye is careful not to talk about it in the camp. For the present. If things get too dirty though, Crazy Eye will save her own hide. This one and other Bandari are not mercenaries. We're traders. No! So unfair, too! Crazy Eye's been guarding this gate for hours and hours when she could be back in her tent taking a cozy little nap. You should tell the Knight Captain. Tell her to give us something! Here at the Martyr's Crossing, important trade routes run through here between North and South Bangkorai, yes? And supply lines from Evermore to Bangkorai Garrison. This one was told that the Knights of St. Pellen have always guarded this place.
If I am not mistaken, you are a friend to Princess Ah. Safe roads to you, then.
There's a sight for a sore eye. Someone who looks like they can spill blood for a righteous cause. The Imperials have just about licked us. I've only got a few knights left who are fit to fight. I've had to recruit Bandari to defend the camp. Frankly, this place isn't easy to defend. It was originally just a little two-man outpost, here to guard the road. With enemies to the north and south, we decided to increase our presence here. Turns out that was a mistake. For starters, it drew knights away from the garrison. That's part of why it fell so easily. The other problem is that we stockpiled supplies here we couldn't protect. They're gone now, though. One more raid, and we might as well retreat to Evermore. By St. Pellen's beard. Of course there is. Biggest problem right now is the Bandari. I've got wounded knights, but my healers can't heal them without supplies. I know the Bandari are sitting on a bunch of poultices. They need to share. That's what I was hoping. Old Silverpaws over there is the one calling the shots for them. See if you can convince him to cough up some of those poultices. We've got lives on the line here. Try not to let that Bandari skeeve out of doing his part. Those damn cats have an excuse for everything. Of course not. The Knights of St. Pellen set up an outpost here to protect the trade routes. The Bandari's livelihood depends on us keeping Martyr's Crossing safe. We shouldn't have to pay them to help protect it. We have to figure out where they're coming from first. So far, the Imperials have been raiding at night. I sent scouts to try to track them, but they never came back. You think the supplies are all they wanted? Not a chance. Those fobbing bastards want to drive us out. They're trying to break the supply lines between Evermore and Bangkorai Garrison. They'll keep raiding until they do.
Greetings. Normally I would take pride in telling you that I am the most worldly Bandari merchant in old Tamriel. I would present you with a lavish display of the amazing variety of goods I have to offer, but I cannot do that today. Not everything, but I did see some of our goods in the last raid. Me and the other Bandari were busy helping the knights defend the barricades. We didn't see the Imperials slip into our tents and steal our most valuable possessions. Do they? Did Knight Commander Sherilyn send you over to ask this of me? Can she not even show Silverpaws the respect of asking herself? Of course not. Either way, we can spare no further supplies. We've given the knights everything we can. Ah, now you speak the language of the Bandari. You must understand everything we sell we either buy somewhere else, or we pay for the materials we use to craft it. We cannot afford to simply give things away. Well, there is a thing about the poultices. We do not have them just yet. The good news is that I had foreseen the need for them, so I sent our herbalists out to gather what they needed, but they haven't returned yet. I didn't want to concern you. I thought the herbalists would be back any minute now, but now that I think about it, they have been gone a long time. I hope nothing unfortunate has befallen them. They went up to the water. They needed a special algae from the lake. Don't tell anyone, but that's one of the key ingredients in the Bandari poultices. If something happened to them at the lake, though, I don't know.